Check out carmarshal.com. The link is in the description. They help support us.
Watch, cops raid park, arrest a dozen people, including a child for helping the homeless. To protect society from the likes of criminals who dare to help out the homeless, police raided a park Sunday and arrested more than a dozen people. By Matt Agarist, January 15, 2018. El Cajon, CA. In spite of the myriad of stories over the years, in which police and governments across the United States have been exposed as tyrants, cities and their armed agents continue to persecute good people who help those less fortunate than them. The latest case of police oppressing those who dare to help the homeless comes out of El Cajon, California this week, in which more than a dozen Good Samaritans were arrested. In October of last year, the El Cajon City Council unanimously voted to ban the act of sharing food on city-owned property. This ban was put in place for the ostensible purpose of preventing the spread of hepatitis A. While the government held the fear of Hep A over everyone's head as a reason to not share food, their hypocrisy was revealed in the details of the law. If a group of people attempts to hand out food as a charitable act, they are in violation of the law and are subject to arrest. However, if a group of people hands out food for non-charitable acts such as birthday parties, group events, etc., then they are not in violation of the law and are not subject to arrest. Naturally, the good citizens of El Cajon saw the law for what it is, as Hep A certainly cannot differentiate between charitable and non-charitable food, and they moved to stop this war on the homeless. Advertisement. A group called Break the Ban organized the event on Sunday, knowing they were in violation of the law but also knowing that what they were doing was morally right. Read more. Couple had their 2-year-old daughter stolen from them for smoking pot. Then it got much worse. It was absolutely necessary to break this law until they were willing to enforce it, and, now that they have, we will continue this fight in court, said another organizer, Shane Parmalee. Mark Lane, one of the organizers of the event, told the San Diego Union Tribune that more than a dozen people, including a 14-year-old child, were arrested at the Wells Park. Showing the sheer hypocritical nature of the arrests, the group was also handing out toiletries which would actually help to prevent the spread of Hep A, yet they were still arrested. This park is part of city property, so you aren't allowed to food share, the officer in the video below says. If you guys continue to food share, then you guys are subject to arrest, alright. Knowing that what they were doing was right, despite the police making their announcement, the group disobeyed and continued to hand out food and supplies to the homeless. That is when the arrests began. Most of the folks arrested were each charged with a misdemeanor for violating El Cajon Municipal Code 1.28.010, which prohibits food sharing in public spaces for charitable reasons. In what was likely a PR move by police, none of the people who were arrested were actually taken to jail. Instead, they were given notices to appear in court for their charges. Smugly speaking to NBC7, Council member Ben Collishow addressed the Good Samaritans, telling them that if they really wanted to help, you can go out there, pick them up, take them back to your house and feed them and board them and room them and have them take a shower if you're really wanting to help. Read more. Horrifying video shows cops tell K9 good boy as they let him maul a handcuffed man. However, this would most likely be against some other ordinance. As TFTP reported last week, cities have ordinances in places that prohibit property owners from providing temporary refuge to homeless people unless they meet rigorous industrial standards. Greg Schiller, a Good Samaritan in Chicago, learned the hard way about the police state who forced him to stop helping homeless people by threatening to condemn his home and charge him. The good news is that the kind-hearted folks at Break the Ban have no intention of stopping what they are doing. They are going to continue to break the law because people need their help. Our goal is to get the ban overturned and sit down and figure out how to humanely deal with something that's not going away, Lane said. Change does not come from sitting idly by and rolling over. True change comes when good people decide it is time to break bad laws.
Joining us now with more on how the city of El Cajon is addressing the homeless crisis is Mayor Bill Wells. Have you been able to reach out to those groups that have gone on against your policy and fed the homeless? And
so I think specifically what you're talking about, we banned feeding homeless people in the parks. Now that sounds horrible.
Martin Luther King once wrote that a just law is a law that uplifts human personality, while an unjust law is a law that degrades human personality. He went on to explain how segregation ordinances were unjust because segregation distorted the soul and put the segregated on a false sense of inferiority and the segregator in a false sense of superiority. And if you think about the homeless feeding ban, it's the same type of thing. It degrades the soul of these people. It is embarrassing for these people to be denied, you know, food.
You know what? I would do volunteer work if they would help provide shelter.
It's too bad they sold it to us and they're going to put a Hilton.
What's going on, Mark?
Mark, come to the speaker.
So hear you.
Yeah, exactly.
You come find the shoes we actively encourage to talk to these people, get to know them, understand their needs, understand where they're at. Yeah.
That would make sense anyway, but they drained.
Oh, yes, start walking around and
So again, it's not about
Walked in just in time. You could download mine. I don't know.
This is the guy that would trigger happy days ago.
I'm with the California.
My favorite part was the guy who was just walking around filming. He was like documenting criminals.
I'm sorry, can you say your name again?
Greg Robertson with the El Cajon Police Department. I'm here to say that on October 24th of this year, for 2017, City Council passed an ordinance that says you are not allowed to food share on public property.
We had no idea.
This park is part of city property, so you're not allowed to food share. So you guys continue.
No, we are allowed to food share. You just can't food share with people who are homeless. It's a discriminatory law.
That part right there. That part.
Continue to food share on public property, which is a city park. You guys are subject to arrest.
It said food sharing at the
Okay, I got a question.
Something you have to bring up with the city council, man.
We have repeatedly, and they won't talk with us.
Bill Wells, I think he should be fired. I think all the city councils should be fired because they don't know what the hell they're talking
All I'm
about.
asking you to do is to stop food sharing at this point. You
I'm
guys
not
continue
straight.
to
I'm
food
homeless,
share,
thank you.
then you guys are going to subject to arrest, okay?
Thank you.
All right, well, we're staying, obviously. Who else would like something? We're subject to arrest, is what he said. I don't think everybody could hear you.
His badge number is 493.
Can you please? So if you don't want to get arrested,
If you don't want to get arrested,
that's fine to step back.
stop sharing, actively participating. If you're okay with them arresting you, stay up
Okay,
here, do your thing.
My understanding is the ban is because of the hepatitis A. Now, look at the whole bigger picture here. We can give ourselves Hep A. You know, if we go back.
Yes.
Offer the officer bananas.
I thought we were supposed to
Give him some bananas and oranges.
No, you guys don't have no donuts. That's why they're mad. Because there's no donuts on the table. Oh, wait a minute. There's donuts over there. There's some donuts over there.
Is this what you wanted?
Helping yourself to donuts? Would you guys like some donuts, maybe? Or we don't have no coffee to go with it. Sorry.
She's feeding the rest of those three.
Sorry.
He just told them to rest you guys.
Yeah. That's fine with me. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Here. This is unconstitutional.
The Geneva Convention, this is against multiple things. Money on.
This is how the tax dollars are getting spent.
And you know it's
You guys
unconstitutional.
chose to suit up today, and they chose to come out here.
Sorry.
Ridiculous.
We're going to cite you. That's all that's going to happen. We're going to give you a cite.
That's fine.
And then you're going to be released from here. And all we ask you is to clean up your stuff. Okay, so we're here to enforce the ordinance.
And we're here to reject the ordinance, so it is what it is.
Okay, so.
Racist police have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Racist police have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Racist police have got to go! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Racist police have got to go!
Citations as a misdemeanor arrest. So it counts as an arrest, but it's just a citation. Well, they're saying it counts as a misdemeanor arrest,
Right,
but it's a ticket they're handing us.
Exactly.
I don't know what that, whatever.
They know arresting us would look bad. That's why.
Right. Well, they would have to actually take a bunch of people to jail. Ask for his badge number first, because he's refusing to give their badge number.
Could I have your badge number? Sure, it's 282. 282.
You know, hey Mark, none of these people have badge numbers on. And not ready to give them out. And they're not giving out their badge numbers.
Oh, sorry.
No, how is it? Alcohol. I heard that
directed over their radio.
And you know they're starting.
Yeah, you did? That's a shame, dude.
I grew up in the projects in Brooklyn, New York, and we shared. People watched out for each other. This just sickens me.
Tell the world. Ordinance for ordinance feeding food sharing in the park. You're being cited for that. Your second violation is failure to obey the first.
Yeah, but the rest of them would tell us.
So there's an ordinance that says you have to obey ordinances, and then so there's two violations that are going to go to citation.
That's some unjust shit, isn't it?
Like, hey, get a bigger badge.
Trying to make it worse than it is.
Organization will provide revenue.
Alfred Alongo! What's his name?
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
What's his name?
Alfred Alongo!
That's right!
Alfred Alongo! Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
Say his name!
Alfred Alongo!
It's 5:58, early morn. My heroes are dead, but I'm reborn. And
There was a few things that we had noticed. One, the officers didn't want to give out their badge numbers, and it wasn't until we made a big fuss about it until another officer with a badge number came and started talking. Another thing is that even though they claimed that they were arrested, many of them, actually I don't think any of them, read their Miranda warnings. Now, there's a 1965, I believe, Supreme Court decision, Arizona versus Miranda, that states that when somebody is under arrest, they have to have their Miranda warnings read.
I got it right. How you doing? You made it. We're going to host another one. There's another one on the 27th. And then the next one after that's going to be on the 16th at City Council Chamber.
Everyone has to go through juvenile court.
Right.
Okay, so I need to make sure I set her on a date. That's
13th.
not a day that's not the date that you have.
It was the 13th.
13th of March or
It was 3 March. Here, what's it say? March 13th?
I thought it said April 17th. That's what the other one said.
3, 14, 18?
Oh, they're giving everyone different dates so that you can't appear all at once. Here you go, buddy. Welcome to the adult.
Why can't you say well? Yeah, and my cell is 855.
I wasn't touching anything.
You need the bag?
Yeah.
Everybody come grab a bag of food if you want. You can take it out and share it with somebody.
County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch, and I wanted to explain what fair use is. You can use pieces of news articles if you're doing it for news reporting, you have commentary, and you're doing it for education purposes. So that's what fair use is, as you can see right here. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is to let you know I have just joined with Patreon. A nice thing with Patreon, I make no money on YouTube. They took the money away years ago, and so this is another way to give, and it's a nice thing too because you can give monthly. You can give $1, $5, $10, whatever. I do 4 to 5 hours a day on trying to wake the sheeple up on how corrupt it is and different ways that you can fight the corruption. So Patreon is a way that you can do it, and then of course the old way is still there. Donate to Sheriff County Cop Watch with PayPal or credit card. So keep that in mind. 4 to 5 hours a day. I make no money, but the corruption happened to me and I'm sick of it, so I'm trying to wake people up. But my wife would love it if if we could get some help out there. There's 47,000 subscribers. Just think if each one of you subscribers just gave a, let's say, actually, yes, $1 a month. 47,000 subscribers gave $1 a month. That would be awesome. That's not going to happen. But anyways, that would be great if it did happen. But do the math in your head. Just think about it. Like I said, 4 to 5 hours a day. I get no money from YouTube. YouTube has gone nuts. You can't do anything anymore. They're taking the money away everywhere. So these are a couple different ways that you can still help out with all this time that I put in. And as you know, I'm in a special situation where, at least I can do it, 4 to 5 hours a day. We have a cleaning company during the day. That's what allows me to do this, and we're debt free. So this is my hobby. I don't go fishing and all that other crap. I try to save the world. So help me out to make the wife happy, man. In fact, if you guys did give $1 a day, and there was 47,000 of you, and you did it, and each of you gave $1, and that was every month, oh my God, yes, I could quit. I could start suing them. Another idea too that we have is, if I got, some funds, we could actually contact everyone that has been ticketed and or arrested and put in jail and start sending them postcards to let them know we're here, and to see if everything went all right, and if it didn't, find out their story. So we could even do more investigations and more lawsuits. Lawsuits take money. So just think about that. 47,000 of you so far right now. $1 a day. $1 a month on Patreon, or $5 a month Patreon, 10, 20, whatever. Just do the math in your head. Help out. This is a lot of work every single day. Thanks.